from a Canadian RVer. What I'll be doing in this video is just showing you what I do to get my tires ready for winterization. And first thing we do is clean them up real nice and put some protectant on the tire so keep it nice and clean. And let's go to the first one and I'll show you how I start my process. I always get my Air pump ready and it's ready to go. So I'll start with the front tire. So here I am at my front passenger tire, and I'll be doing that one first. And again, it's nice and clean, ready to be stored. And right now what we're going to do, because I have tire pressure monitoring system that's right on there, I'm going to take that off. And I don't use a security lock on this one, only because it's pretty tight in the area where I've got to get the lock on. So usually what I do is I just put the tire pressure monitoring on that. But because my valve is so deep in there, and I like to use a special connection when I do all the tires, then what I do is I put on this little extension valve, which helps me get the valve out to here. It's a little easier to work with. So what I do is I just screw that on. I'll have to tighten it in a minute with some needle nose. There we go, it's nice and tight. Now you see I've got the extension that's way out here, much easier to deal with. So let's put on the Air pump and check the pressure. All right, so now I've got the Air, which is the screw-on gauge cap, and comes back into the meter here. So now the tire tells me I've got about 90 pounds, 91. So let's start taking it up. And we're going to take it up just to about 100, and you can hear the compressor running. Let the compressor charge up again. And you can see it's already come up about 3 or 4 pounds. When I back off, you can see where it drops back to the right pressure, whatever that is. It's like 98 pounds. So now again, we're going to take it up just a little over 100. There we are, the Air's fully back up to 150 psi in the cylinder, and right now we're just sitting at 100. Now the reason I go up a little over 100, when I take the valves off, we'll lose a little bit of air, so I want to make sure that I get a good pound in there. These tires will go up to 120 psi. So there it is. It's just now a little over 100 psi, and when the compressor stops and I'm not pulling the trigger, it stabilizes just about 101, 102 pounds. So let me remove everything and I'll show you what I put on next. So the Air pump has been removed. Now to remove the valve, and I'm going to put on some plastic caps, only because plastic and the steel caps don't corrode, so I like using plastic. So I bought a package of plastic valve caps, and I'll be putting one on this valve right there, and just to protect it from any debris going inside. So we'll put that on there. There we are. There's the cap on the valve, protected, and the tire is up at about 101 psi or 100 psi. So that's really where we want it for winter. Now let's go back and I'll show you how I do my dualies, which is a little different. Also, what you see right in the middle there is my levelers are down right now, but I know that do you put them up? Do you leave them down? I prefer to put them up only because I don't want pressure on any of the lines over winter, and the tires are up at a good pressure, so the RV will sit on the tires. And what I'll do probably sometime every month is come back, start the engine, start the generator, and maybe just roll back a few feet on the tire just to take it off the pressure points. So let's go back and do the dually. So I'm now on the back dualies and on the passenger side, and because I have the locks on my pressure monitoring system here, both of these just spin and you really can't take it off. You need this little special tool that they built to take them off. And what I've done with my inside dually, I've added an extender that takes it from the valve inside and brings it out to here, so it's much easier to reach and use it, by putting air in. So there's my 2 points right here. First of all, let's take off the outside dually, and you put the tool on, and now you can unscrew the actual valve. So it's really a valve in a valve. Well, it's, I guess the valve part is inside there, and this is just a cover, and without this tool you can't get to the part that really spins it off. You see, I can spin it in my finger, and the inside part is not turning. All right, so let's hook up the Viair, and we'll pump up that tire. So here I am. I've now connected the Viair pump. It's pressurized, and you can see the gauge. Let me get the glare out of there. It's sitting at around 90 psi, which is a little low. So again, for this one here too, we're going to drive it up to about 102 pounds, and let's start compressing it. Again, all these tires, their maximum cold pressure is 120 psi. Usually in the summer months, I run them all at about 100, and they do go up as they warm up during transit or travel. And you can keep them around 100, 110 while you're driving with a fully loaded RV. So we're just coming up to 100 psi. But that's not the real pressure, because as I let off on the trigger and allowed the compressor to pressurize again, that's what the true pressure is right there. So again, let's take it up. Sometimes letting the compressor charge up to 150 psi, it kind of kicks it up a little bit faster by letting the Viair compress. Almost at 100. And also, by putting in a good 100 psi, it should help the seal that's around there on the rim. As it's a little more pressure, it will help it seal a little better in the cold. So there we are. We're just about 101, 102. There we go. We're right on about 100 and something, so even when I take the valve off that little bit, it should compensate for it. All right, compressor's off. It's charged again. So let me take the Viair off, and I'll put the plastic valve cap on. Got the plastic valve cap and putting it on. This is the outside dually. Keep the contaminants out from the winter. Now what I'm going to do is, again, I've got my key again. I'm now going to remove the inside dually tire pressure monitor. Oops. That wasn't very good. Kind of hard to handle a camera and the pressure regulating system all at the same time, so. There we go. We've got that one off. We'll put it down here. I'll be right back as I hook up the okay, we're hooked up to the inside dually valve, and you can see while it's been about 48 degrees today here in Ontario, Canada, and you can see where all the pressures have dropped a little bit. They've come down. So let's take this one up to 100. What I've done right now is I've just sped up the video a little bit just to save a bit of time, and I'm just doing exactly the same thing. I'm triggering the pump on and off, and you can see the pressure coming up slowly. So back to normal speed, and we'll carry on with finishing this tire. Yeah, it's pretty good right there. We're just a smidgen over 100, about 1 or 2 pounds. And that'll give me some leeway when I take the valve off right there. All right, we'll be back in a minute. Last final step is to put on a plastic valve on here. Now I've used stainless steel in the past, but I find that they corrode a little bit just over time. So with the plastic, it's really easy to take them off and there's no corrosion. So here we go. We've done the dualies. We've brought them all up to 100 psi. And even if it does cool off now, the pressure in the tires should hold, and I'll check it maybe in 1 or 2 months again as I come up and do an inspection on the tires. So that's how I do the dualies and my front tire with my Viair pump. And I'm now going to do the other side, but I won't film that. It's exactly the same steps as I've done on this side. Again, this is V from a Canadian RVer. We hope you've enjoyed the video. That's what I do to look after my tires. And maybe there's one more thing I'll do, is I'll put the covers on them and strap those down. But we won't be doing that yet because we still have some time to get around to do that.